Assalamu alaikum. We are starting with topic 1.3, which is factors of production. We are already done with nature and definition of factors of production. Therefore, we are going to start with difference between human capital and physical capital. Human capital is the capital that we talk about as a factor of production. Physical capital is the capital that we talk about as factor of production, and human capital is labor. Physical capital is also known as machinery or equipment, which is man made. It is the result of more resources being made by the business and government in the wide range of items such as factories. The quality and quantity or of physical capital can be considered as most important of the economic resources in low income and lower middle income countries, right? Labor is the human capital, and human capital also contributes towards productive potential and productivity of the economy. It contributes towards productive potential of the economy means how much output they can increase. If human capital is skilled, the skills may affect future earnings of individual and of the economy. Skilled labor means more earning, more productivity, more efficiency. Unskilled labor means less productivity, less efficiency. Also, unskilled human capital is present in economies that are not developed and that are dominated mostly by primary sector of the economy. What is the primary sector of economy? Primary sector is where skilled labor is not required and people with minimum skills can find jobs. These are the countries such as Pakistan. India has now become part of developing countries, but Pakistan or countries like Pakistan are still undeveloped because they are agricultural countries. They don't have a dominant secondary or tertiary sector. In India, there is a very dominant tertiary sector, right? So skilled labor, semi skilled and skilled laborers are required in economies which have a dominant secondary sector, whereas economies that have a dominant tertiary sector require skilled labor. Human capital can apply to individuals as well as population as a whole. Why do countries or why do economies focus more on physical capital? If they do, they focus more on physical capital if they have confidence in the economy that economy is going to grow in future. Therefore, they estimate or they forecast that there will be more demand for consumer products in future. To meet that demand, they invest in physical capital at present so that they can create more consumer products to meet those demands. Next is specialization and division of labor. Specialization is a way with which more goods and services can be produced in the most efficient and productive manner. The definition of specialization is when an individual or a group of individual or firms or economies concentrate on producing some goods and services rather than others because they are very good at producing those goods and services. For example, when we say that XYZ country is the biggest producer of tea, coffee, rice, cotton, this is because they specialize in those. Countries that specialize in manufacturing car engines or firms such as Samsung that specializes in manufacturing truck engines and heavy equipment, have heavy machinery, they specialize in those. Why do they specialize in those? Because they perform those tasks or those jobs better than anyone else. If a firm or an individual or an economy specializes in something, then they have a competitive advantage, means they can reap benefits of economies of scale. They can utilize factors of production productively and efficiently. They can achieve dynamic efficiency, allocative efficiency, as well as productive efficiency while lowering their costs as well. It allows individuals and firms and economies to concentrate upon what they are best at doing, meaning more services and goods will be produced. However, specialization has disadvantages as well. Disadvantages is the tasks are monotonous, therefore it can lead to boredom. Boredom can lead to inefficiencies, to demotivated employees and individuals, to less productivity. There is a chance that the output is increasing, productivity is increasing, yes, yet the output is less, right? Productivity is increasing, yet the output is less because the inputs are also increasing. Also, it limits the individual's abilities to venture into other jobs if the industry that they are working in fails. For example, when if cotton market or shoe market crashes, people or firms that specialize in producing shoes, people working for those firms will not have any other place to go, and there will be high level unemployment because the labor is restricted in terms of skills and qualification. Then we have division of labor. What is division of labor? Division of labor is large number of workers within very large production units has allowed the process of production to be broken down into a series of tasks. Division of labor was first introduced by Ford, where they divided the task into certain sections, and labor was, for example, if one section or one area, labor in one area was working on engine, then they were working only on engine. Division of labor can be described as the process of separating a task into multiple parts, with each part assigned to a different person or a different group. It is also known as specialization. Division of labor comes with specialization, or we can say that specialization leads to division of labor. How does it work? Let's have a look how specialization or how division of labor works. Division of labor works to increase efficiency. How does it increase efficiency? It increases efficiency because it allows workers to develop expertise in specific tasks, which will improve productivity. When productivity is improved, efficiency is improved. Why efficiency is improved? Because more output is produced by utilizing finite resources or limited input. Also, it reduces wasted motion. What does that mean? Workers don't have to change tools or move around as much when they complete a series of related tasks. They are able to perform all their tasks in one place. And third one is increased output. More output can be produced with the same number of workers. Examples can be assembly lines, right? Examples can be assembly lines. How assembly lines? In manufacturing, each worker has a specific task to complete on that line, and another example could be hospitals. How hospitals have division of labor? Doctors, nurses, lab techs, all of them have specific roles and responsibility. Division of labor applies to many aspects of life, including our personal work, government, and social life as well. Next is role of an entrepreneur in the economy. Who is an entrepreneur? Entrepreneurs are individuals who organize production by putting together various factors of production to form a business opportunity. They are the people who manage all the factors of production in such a way as to maximize profits and maximize efficiency. They invest their own money and they take risks, but they either borrow money from the bank or they borrow from other people, and they achieve their goals, the goal with which they establish certain businesses. There is a higher likelihood for them to lose everything if their plans don't go uh, is if the plan don't work out really well. Successful entrepreneurs have certain qualities. What are the qualities of those entrepreneurs? They are leaders. They have leadership qualities and they can lead people by example. They are such people who can convince others to work in a direction which is productive and fruitful for everyone and is mutually beneficial for all the parties involved. They make a business opportunity by putting together factors of production. An entrepreneur is an entrepreneur no matter in which industry they work. However, I personally believe that a person who is used to of working in a service sector will not be able to work in manufacturing sector, but this is a normative statement because it's my opinion. So an entrepreneur knows how to bring together all factors of production which they are aware are scarce and limited in nature to make the most of it and maximize benefits. They are prepared to take the risk and they are aware that their plans can go in the reverse direction as well. They are creative and innovative. Creativity and innovation is the core characteristic of an entrepreneur because an innovative individual will find solutions to problems of people in innovative and creative manner in a way that has never been provided before and in a way that is cost effective for everybody. They produce something that the market wants or they produce something which is in demand. If they try to produce something which the market does not demand, then they are not successful entrepreneurs, and that is the quality of a bad entrepreneur. They anticipate current and future needs, means they will forecast future needs as well. They will use either tools or they will hire managers to do that. May have some good luck or good fortune and make the right decisions. Normally, the quality of a good entrepreneur is that they make the right decision at the right time. So, why do we need these entrepreneurs in our economies? Entrepreneurs are business owners and they are people who start business activity. Unless we have business activity in the economy, there will be no employment, there will be no demand, there will be no supply. So the entire economy depends on entrepreneurs. The question is, not everybody is doing business. Of course, not everybody is doing business, but there are certain people who are doing businesses and who are employing people to work for them. If there are no businesses, then the government has to do business. The government has to play the role of an entrepreneur, but we need an entrepreneur in our economies for them to function properly, to earn something, to produce something, and to meet the needs and wants of people, to mobilize the factors of production, and to um, create wealth or generate income. That is it for this topic.